Show me, chef.
Show me, chef. Show me, show me, show me, chef. Show me, chef.
G'day, how you going? Today we're going to be cooking two varieties of Subway style sandwiches. One, the old traditional meatball style sub with tomato sauce, and the second, a crumbed chicken, a classic. Okay, we can break this lesson into four key components. The tomato sauce for the meatballs, the making of the meatballs, the crumbing of the chicken, and your general mise en place, your salad ingredients. At this stage, I don't think I need to go into too much detail with your mise en place. I'll just point out some of the key parts. So what I have here is some peeled and sliced cucumber, some washed lettuce, some washed and halved then sliced tomato, some julienne Spanish onion, and some julienne red capsicum and sliced cucumber, the washed lettuce, tomato halved and sliced, the julienne Spanish onion, and the julienne capsicum. Remember that all things need to be washed, then peeled, and then re-washed again. Obviously, if you're not peeling tomato, just wash them, then slice them. Crumbing of the chicken. So I have a humble chicken breast. All you need now is a meat mallet, some Glad wrap, and a handy sharp chef knife. So the first thing you want to do is butterfly this so it's equal thickness. Alright, so get the thick part at the end, and just hold your knife horizontally, and just into about midway, using the tip of your knife to slice, and then open it. And that's what you call butterflying, so it's equal thickness. What I'm going to do to make it a bit more manageable is cut that in half. I have two pieces. Now I need Glad wrap. I need to get a big ream of it, then fold it. I need to fold it again, cut it off. This is going to act as a sort of preventative layer, stop that from mashing up too much when I meat mallet it. It's like a bit of a silencer style thing. So on with that, and just lightly with the teeth side. Bash it out a little thinner. Again with the second piece. The seasoning, as I pointed out, I like to season my meat before I crumb it. So peppermill, make sure it's a generous little helping there. And your salt. Alright, the crumbing process. Flour, egg wash, and breadcrumb. Remember those. Flour, egg wash, breadcrumb. You need your flour to bind the egg, and you need the egg to bind the breadcrumbs. And that prevents the food from drying out in the deep frying process. It's like a preventative layer. So I've got the flour, the egg wash. Egg wash is basically egg and milk and whisk together. So I just flour the breast, nice and even. Dust off any excess flour into your egg wash. Second bit of chicken. Drain off that. Into the breadcrumbs. And then straight onto your plate. Again, the second piece into the egg wash. Alright, and the second piece is nice and generously crumbed onto a plate, ready for the deep fryer. When you get to the deep fryer, you've got to be aware of some safety concerns. So, people around you, some really, really hot oil, around 180 degrees for cooking food. Using appropriate equipment, say a spider to remove food from oil, that is a spider. Or if you're going to be using tongs in oil, not to be grabbing food out of the actual oil, that you're just grabbing it out of the basket itself, because you can actually scoop oil into this little mouth and it'll run down the stem into your hand out that bottom hole. Very careful with boiling oil and take your skin off. Right, straight into this basket I'm going to put my chicken. Now very carefully when we lower it into there. The common question is usually, when is the chicken ready? Now with this thin cut of chicken, it's only going to take 2 to 3 minutes until that chicken coating, or that bread coating, is nice, golden and crunchy. 2 to 3 minutes. Once the chicken is well and truly drained in the basket, remove it with tongs onto a tray with kitchen paper just to remove that excess oil. Okay, and now onto the making of the meatballs. I have both minces, the pork and the lamb, into a large mixing bowl, along with a fine brunoise, a fine dice of onion, goes in there. Also going to grab some breadcrumbs, chuck them in there too. One clove of garlic minced, and don't forget your seasoning: salt, a nice generous helping of salt, and some freshly ground black pepper. Look at that go in, beautiful stuff. Alright, some Italian herbs, also going to add to that depth of flavour, and one whole egg in there, just crack that in. Alright, now that all those ingredients are in the large mixing bowl, we need to mix them up nice and thoroughly. So I'm going to grab a glove, don't forget your hygiene guys, nice and sanitised glove, and in there, mix all those ingredients nice and evenly through. Your seasoning, your garlic, everything needs to be bited evenly so that all those meatballs taste the same. Alright, the next step to get these meatballs rolled, we want to focus on consistency. The consistency of the size and shape so that they all cook at the same time. I'm thinking about the size of a ping pong ball. So just roll them in your hands onto a tray with greaseproof paper and olive oil. Okay, the meatballs are all ready, they're all trayed up, ready to go in the oven. Just dress them with a little extra olive oil, salt and pepper, and they're going to go into the oven at 180 degrees for around 10 minutes. Alright, the fourth and final phase, the making of the sauce. I'm going to dress the meatballs in this beautiful tomato sauce. So starting off with a little olive oil, nice generous helping of that. Straight into that olive oil, I'm going to add a really fine dice of brown onion, a brunoise of brown onion, one clove of minced garlic, straight in there. And we want to sweat those off. So sweating means cooking without colour. We want that nice development of caramelised flavours, nice translucent colour. Salt and pepper, as always. Just stir and sweat that off. A couple of minutes, 2-3 minutes. When you're sweating guys, just keep an eye on your flame that it's not too high, nice and low, just so you're developing those caramels. No colour, no brownness. Alright, after a couple of minutes, just add your tomato paste. And we want to cook that tomato paste out for a couple of minutes also, just to remove that tartness, the bitterness of that tomato paste. After the tomato paste, I'm just going to add that crushed tomato, empty it all in there, give it a good stir, reduce the heat and let that simmer away. So with the sauce we need to correct the seasoning. We need a good balance of salt, sugar and acid. So the sugar from the caster, the salt from our table salt, and the acid from our red wine vinegar. So in with the red wine vinegar, have a little bit of sugar there measured out, and also the salt that is currently in there. Stir that around, give it a good taste. How do you know if it tastes any good unless you taste it? Okay, we're almost there with the sauce. All we have to do now is just stick blend it so it becomes nice, smooth and consistent. So I've got a tea towel folded up nice and neat. Onto there I put the saucepan. We don't want to burn anyone. So we just want to puree that up. So just fully submerge the tip of that stick blender in there. Turn it on low. Blend away so it becomes nice and smooth. Alright, just combine your meatballs with your sauce to give it a nice coating. And they'll be ready to go on your bread rolls once you're plating up or when you're constructing those sandwiches. Alright, we're up to making these and putting these sandwiches together. So wear a glove, hygiene is very important. Use a bread knife, cut the bread. Alright, when making sandwiches, I think butter is pretty important. Important for flavour, not just flavour, but also lubricating, making the food easy to go down. So your generous helping of butter, and I think the rest you guys can just observe and, you know, pick it up as I show you right here. Lettuce first, then your salad dressings, then your meat, then some mayonnaise on the chicken, and a bit of cheese if you're lucky on the meatball sub.